All right. Thanks for listening. You're listening to On Deck, presented by Amazing Met Zone. I'm Phil from Shirley with my boy, Drew Minotti 82. What up, Drew?
What's going on, people? I just want to, before I forget, I want to give a shout out to a couple people. I want to give a shout out to City Boys, right? Johnny B. Fitted, Pappy Caps a lot. Our boys over there, Bordy, Brooklyn Bordy, Caps and Kegs, City Boy Dre, Nick, Mr. Mets hat. I mean, there's so many guys over there. I feel bad. I'm definitely forgetting some of you guys,
We
but
got to get some of these guys on here.
yeah, I know. And Vintage Mets and J
Oh,
Mac and
yep.
Nancy Nemme. Like, there's a couple of people like I've been slacking on the shout outs, but these are the guys that, every time we have a new video or new content, they help us push it and they also give us some pointers. This community's it's definitely
Queensbro podcast. Shout out Queensbro.
definitely I feel like there's so many guys that, you know,
100%.
roll with us. Obviously, AMZ, the boys over there with, our team, Roy, Dro, Hirsch, Hype, um, Alex Ortiz, MP4 Met. I
Go.
mean, you know,
Hirsch. Shout
yeah,
out Hirsch.
Big Dog Hirsch. We always get right into content, and I always forget to give these guys shout outs. So let's shout out these guys real quick, and then let's get into our top five.
All right, we're here. We want to talk a little top five wrestling tag teams, our favorite wrestling tag teams, top five of our favorite. We want to hear yours in the comment too. I'm going to start with number one. My number one coming up, it's got to be the Dudley Boys for me. The Dudley
Ooh,
Boys they were my guys, man. I love the Dudleys. I'm in that Attitude Era. That's number one for me. When they came over from ECW, they were the fucking best, man. Bubba Ray, Devon, even little Spike. Gotta love Dudley Boys.
talking about that promos, man. I just saw a promo recently where he was just shitting the crowd, telling
Oh,
these guys that all their wives are gonna suck his dick, like crazy stuff.
Oh, amazing. You see ECW, Bubba Ray in
Yeah,
that time cutting the promos.
wild.
Amazing. Oh,
Yeah.
amazing shit he used to say.
That was in my honorable mention. I love Dudley's. This is a hard list to make, and we said that before. The
It
top five,
is.
like there's so many. My number one's got to be the Road Warriors, right? Legion of
Okay.
Doom. Me,
Mhm.
me and my boys, we used to do that move in the pool all the time where we got in the shoulder and then fucking hit him. The Legion of
Yep.
Doom. Those guys were sick. Like those guys really wanted to fuck people up. I don't think they were like just trying to like have a good time in the ring. And I heard they were good wrestlers. One of them was better than the other. I think it was Hawk was better than Road. Uh, the, Hawk was the better wrestler, I believe. But
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
they're just that they were scary as fuck, man. I remember coming out with the pad
Mm-hmm.
motorcycle, like they scared the shit out of me. So I'd say Legion of Doom, Road Warriors number one.
No, yeah, and they just piggybacking right off you. That's my number two. Growing up, they were everything. You know what I mean? They were the shit, like you said, with the shoulder pads and the spikes. The Legion of Doom were on another level. Tag team champions. I feel like in almost every like big promotion, one of the only tag teams that were that. The Road Warriors, Hawk and Animal.
Yeah,
Number two for me. I totally agree.
yeah, it's hard not to have a list with these guys on. Sure.
Yeah, and I feel like people are gonna be like, "Oh, Phil, yo, you just jumping and just saying what Drew said."
Uh,
Nah, fuck that. Road
yeah,
Warriors number two. They are number two.
and we don't know each other's list before we record.
Yeah,
Like
now we didn't even talk about it. That's why I came
yeah,
with the Dudleys right away.
my number two. I'm sure they're on your list. The Outsiders, Hall and Nash, man. Those guys were just so fucking cool. And you talk about cross promotions from WCW
Mhm.
to WWF. They were it for me. Like they were like the perfect balance of big brute and then just guy that just talk shit.
Yeah.
And I know Razor was a big dude. No Diddy, but he was a big guy too. But I feel like just like Kevin Nash coming in and just Big Diesel fucking people up, man, and then Razor just talking shit and fucking backing it up. Those guys. They were like the cool guys, Like
Oh,
I feel like
100%.
I love those guys.
100%. When they came over from WWF to WCW, that was huge. That was
Yeah,
huge. My number three, it's got to be the New Age Outlaws. Yeah, the Road Dog Jesse James, the badass Billy Gunn, the best. At that time, like I said, I'm an Attitude Era guy. And to me, they were just the best. You know what I mean? The mic skills of the Road Dog coming to the ring, just talking the whole time. Amazing, amazing. For me, New Age Outlaws number three, arguably could be my number one, but I had to put the Dudleys up there. You know what I mean? Get the
Yeah, no, New Age Outlaws is, and they were like if they were just by themselves, Billy Gunn, like
Mhm.
like they're good wrestlers, but together they were just so fun to watch. You
Definition of their name, the New Age Outlaws. Like they just had nothing to do with these guys. Just put them together, and they
right?
were just amazing.
Like I think that's one thing about a tag team is just the way that they complement each other, and I feel like again, like the whole Nash thing and New Age Outlaws, they just like balance out each other. Like you have everything in two guys. So my number three is going to be the Hart Foundation. I mean, they were just legendary. I feel like I love Jim the Anvil Neidhart. I feel like he really pushed Bret Hart to be a better wrestler. They knew each other in and
Mhm.
out. They were Neidhart married Bret Hart's sister. He was part of that whole Hart Foundation and everything. Those guys were fun to watch, and just like technical wrestlers, and just they knew each other. They knew each other. I feel like the Hart Foundation has to be my number three.
This is such a hard list. You know what I mean? I got so many guys like running through my head, even from when I was younger. Little times with guys together. A team that jumps out to me that spent a little time together. Two monster guys. You know what I mean? Like I grew up in that later era, like I said, the Attitude Era. So to me, this was kind of like the mega powers of Macho and Hogan together. And to me, that's the Rock and Sock connection, man. The Rock and Mankind together. Everybody wanted it so bad, and it was just thrown together. It's so comical that they're even a tag team.
Yeah,
But those I remember watching at that time and just being like wanting these guys to be a tag team. The build up for it was so great. Two of my guys, they're both in my top five as single guys. I can't not have the Rock and Sock connection in my top five tag teams. I can't.
yeah. I feel like that was a fun tag team to watch. And again, talk about two guys that complement each other. Like Mankind was the hardcore champ, Rock was like a
Mhm.
face, you know, and he can back it up. Both of them can back it up. They were both great wrestlers, and like you said, it was like the odd couple. That was fun to watch. My number four is an unconventional one. Like you said, I have so many running through my head,
Uh,
but for some reason, Bam Bam and Vader stick out. They
like
were crazy in Japan. The two guys in WWE that just like, I mean, you don't want to get into a bar fight with these two guys. Never mind being stuck in a ring with those two monsters. Like I know like the natural disasters were like big guys, but I feel like Bam Bam and Vader were big guys that can move.
mhm.
You you didn't want to wrestle these guys, and both of
Yep.
them at the same time, like forget about it. And like I said, Vader's in my top five. Bam Bam could be in my top five. I feel like these
Yep.
guys were fun to watch and just like pummel people.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And like you said, both two guys in your top five, like right there. So they got to be in there. For me now, five, I got so many guys running through the Hardy Boys. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Demolition back in the day. I used to love the Nasty Boys, man. I used to always like just try to grab somebody and put their head under my armpit and rub their head right in there. But for me, growing up, it's probably one of the shittiest tag teams too. But I love them. Just coming to the ring, I'm always just doing this, just doing the Bushwhackers, baby. The
Bushwhack.
Bushwhackers got to be number five for me. They're terrible, but I don't know why. I just love them licking
Yeah.
each other's heads. As a little kid, they were my guys, man. I fucking love the Bushwhackers.
Yeah. I remember like my friend's uncle used to always call me Bushwhackers. And shit, just because we used to fucking just do stupid to each other and like always
Yeah,
in fight.
exactly.
Bushwhackers. Butch and Luke, the Bushwhackers. I'm like, yo,
Yep.
these guys, like you said, coming to the ring like this. Like I knew exactly when once you did that, I was like, this guy's gotta say the Bushwhackers. Like those guys were fun, man. Like you said, not your conventional wrestlers or tag team. Maybe isolated, they probably wouldn't be so popular, but together, they used to just like dominate. It was fun to
Yep.
watch.
No. I
Um,
remember being a kid and just loving them. So that you know what I mean. They had to be doing something right.
yeah. I have, like you said, I have so many. I had Demolition on my list at one point. I had the Rockers on my list at one point, Marty Jannetty and Shawn
Mhm.
Michaels. They broke up. I was like crushed. But my my fifth is going to be Harlem Heat. I just feel like those guys were just another fucking like force in the ring. Booker T just on the mic was incredible. I know he slipped up a couple of times and dropped the N word.
Oh, got some of the best slip ups in the
Yeah,
history.
yeah, and Sherry being their like manager was
Yep.
really cool. Like I thought that was awesome. I just feel like those guys were again. You didn't want to fuck with Harlem Heat. Like you
Not
see guys,
Stevie
you
Ray.
the way. Yeah, Stevie Ray was a beast. You know those
Yeah.
guys, and they can move for big guys. Watching them
100%.
ring, it's how do they do this? So I don't know. Like you said, I had the Hardy Boys, I had Dudley Boys, I had the Rockers, I had Demolition, but I think five is going to be Harlem Heat for sure.
And I agree. The big thing about a team like Harlem Heat, like these traditional great tag teams we're talking about, where you got the guy that can kill it on the mic and that guy that's just there, that's an amazing wrestler that'll beat the shit out of you. You know what I mean? Like the New Age Outlaws with Road Dogg and Billy Gunn. Like there's so many little teams like that. Bret Hart and Jim the Anvil. You know what I mean? Where Anvil had the mic skills and Bret Hart just was the wrestler. You know, I mean Anvil's mic skills is just kind of yelling, but I loved it.
Man, and they were the Road Warriors, man. Like you said,
100%. Exactly.
just get you going, man. You don't have to be, like Ric Flair or Stone Cold, like or like The Rock, like be witty. Sometimes just screaming and telling someone you're gonna fuck them up is just as good.
Oh, it's the best. So hey, thanks for listening. That's our top five. We want to know what your top five tag teams are. And we'll be back. We'll be back with plenty more.
Let's go. Let's go.
We need to like shut this off quicker.